Alright guys, so here's what we're going to do today. This is a full walkthrough from level 1 up to level 60 in Crystal of Atlan, and along the way I'll be dropping a lot of tips based on my actual journey. So please don't skip any part because the tips really make more sense when you hear them at the right time. For example, when I reach level 55, that's when we'll talk about level 55 stuff like the best way to spend your green and orange stamina, or which dungeons are worth running in that level. So sharing tips this way helps everything click better, so you get the info exactly when you need it. But again, quick reminder guys, I'll say this again in the intro, I'm not a pro player. I'm just a super ordinary player who loves early access games. That's why my channel is called Early Access Hunter. I focus on this kind of content, exploring new games early. So just take what makes sense to you and ignore what doesn't. And if you see something wrong or confusing, feel free to correct me in the comment. That way we all learn together, not just from watching the video, but from reading the comments too. Okay, that was a super long intro, so let's get started. Okay, so first step, I created my main character. I was deciding between Elementalist or Magic Swordsman, but I ended up going with Magic Swordsman. At first, I was spending all my green stamina on this character, and based on my experience, I reached level 27 without using any stamina potion. Basically, with 120 green stamina, level 27 is the minimum you will reach. Next, I level up my alt characters up to level 19. In the global release, I plan to create as many alts as I can. You may ask why level 19? Well, at level 10, you get a daily login reward, and at level 19, you get another one. So by leveling alts to 19, you double your login rewards. Plus, there are event rewards that you can get with each alt character. And also, I plan not to invest much in my alts progression. All the resources would go to my main. That's why I think my alts would mainly just log in for rewards. And also because early on, players probably won't be strong enough to run dungeons like Abyss dungeons. I figure that pushing alts early might not help since Abyss dungeons rely on strong teammates. And if my alts were underpowered, they might be a burden in parties. That's why initially I think I will be spending most of my stamina on the main character. Yeah, but this is just my idea. Things might change when we are already in the global version. So for now, again, my goal is all alts at level 19, and I expect on day 1 to create 4 alts. And based on my experience, one alt takes about 75 stamina to reach level 19. So for 4 alts, that's already 300 stamina total. And add the 120 stamina spent on the main, and that's 420 stamina used overall. And in the global version, the total account stamina is 720. And in the Chinese version I'm playing right now, it's 960 because you can create up to 8 character. But let's focus on 720 stamina for now, the global version. So that leave us 300 stamina remaining after alts and main initially leveling. And I plan to spend all the leftover stamina on my main. And one more thing guys, every 5 levels, guys, like level 30, level 35, level 40, check your gear and equip whatever you can. Those are good checkpoints to make sure your gear progression matches your level. Yeah, but remember, stick to free gear you get from the game. Don't craft anything early on. At level 50 and level 55, you'll replace everything anyway. Also, don't forget to level up your skill. Just put points into whatever skill you use most. It's easy to reset skill here, no items needed. So in the early game, the skill system is actually one of the few systems you'll interact with. You don't need to touch other systems yet, just focus on skills. From level 27 to 47, I actually lost my stamina tracking here because reset happened and I did something else. But by this point, I started doing some elite quest too. Yeah, but you might wonder why I stop at 47. But before answering that, guys, here's another quick tip. Once you hit level 45, guys, I encourage you to do your side quests and also your elite quests until you unlock your ultimate skill. That level 45 ultimate skill will really help you out and it's free. Just do the quest. But back to the question, why level 47? Okay, So in 47, I hit a roadblock in the main quest which required level 55 to continue. So I started doing all extra quests, mostly elite quests, and at this stage it's mostly party gameplay, duo parties or even 4-player dungeon runs. And the party system in this game is actually flexible. If no players are available, bots will fill in for you. From level 47 to 55, I level up by doing side and elite quests. This was roughly the second day of playing after the daily reset. It might be equivalent to third day in the global version because the reserve energy system was also active this time. That's why I'm getting more XP and spending more stamina. Yeah, but anyway, right now at level 55, look at my gear. All of it is free gear from playing the game. I even haven't enhanced anything. This plus 7 gear came from a box you get every 10 levels. I still hadn't touched systems like pets or the circuit system. Yeah, that's why my tip here is don't spend your early resources yet. Keep leveling up to at least level 55. Save your materials for future gear like level 50 accessories and level 55 armor which you craft from void dungeons. Okay, so guys, once you hit level 55, welcome to the farming arc. So this is where journey really starts to get interesting and different for everyone. So at this point, your stamina, both green and orange, starts becoming way more important. And here's the thing, people will have different strategies on how to spend it. That's why I encourage you to also check out what other players are doing. But in this video, I'll be sharing my own approach. But anyway, guys, I might even change this one later, depending on how the global version plays out. But here's what I personally will do once I hit level 55. The first thing I will aim for is crafting my pink weapon because having good DPS really help your dungeon runs. So you have two choices here. Either buy it from the market if someone is selling, but it will probably be expensive at first. But if you get your pink weapon early, you can skip this first farming phase that I'm going to share. So the first way to use your stamina is farming materials for your pink weapon, and you get these materials from your elite dungeon run using green stamina. So take note guys, green stamina. So here's another good tip guys. During your questing journey, always use your green stamina on elite quest first and your orange stamina on normal story dungeons. Okay, so why? Because if you check the loot you get from green versus orange stamina, only the green stamina run drop materials needed for your pink weapon. Also, while farming materials for your weapon, you're also getting loot that you can use to craft Abyss ticket, which you will need later. Now, the Elite Story dungeon you will probably be tempted to spam for collecting materials for your pink weapon is this 5-5 Elite dungeon, mostly because of the experience you get here, like you can get 500,000 XP, and if you look at the other elite dungeons, the XP is lower compared to 5-5. But from my experience, once you hit level 55, I feel that you don't really need to aim for XP in running elite dungeons because you will reach level 60, the level cap, naturally. And even at level 60, you will still be running dungeons and gaining XP. But at that point, it won't be as necessary for leveling up anymore. So another reason to run different elite dungeons is for these insignias. For example, this insignia here is good for everyone and it sells for a high price. Sometimes players don't realize its value and sell it cheap, so it's worth keeping an eye on the market. Or you can use these insignias yourself. They increase damage and skill levels, and you can slot them in parts of your gear like your legs. There's also this insignia. It gives plus 3% magic and physical damage, and this one is actually for your weapon. And yeah, and the last one that I can show you is there's this one with a flute, yeah, which this one fits helmet and ring slot, so this has something to do with stats. Now I'm just showing you all of these insignias to highlight their value. This is from what the Chinese community experienced early on. I mean, these three insignias I showed you started out really cheap but ended up becoming quite expensive once player began building their ideal setup. So think of insignias like cards in Ragnarok. They can make a big difference in your build in the future. But on the global server, how valuable they are will still depend on how players on your server see them. Still, I'm pretty sure these three insignias will be popular in the late game. Okay, so that's the first option, farming materials and its insignias with green stamina in elite dungeons. Yeah, but guys, if you get lucky and find a pink weapon in the market at a reasonable price, I mean pink weapon, the level 55, the weapon that I showed you earlier, you can totally skip the first farming pace I showed earlier. So buying a pink weapon early on basically means you're buying time and stamina, which can be a huge boost. Though to be honest, in the early days, I doubt many people will be having it and selling it. But if you manage to find one, that bring us to our second phase of farming. Okay, so once you get the pink weapon, you basically graduated from phase 1 farming, the elite dungeon quest grind. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you stop doing your elite dungeons. You still run them, but now you can use orange stamina for them because green stamina was mainly for farming pink weapon materials. Right now that your pink weapon is done, we can now use our green stamina toward better content like abyss dungeons. So your routine might look different, like it will be like this, like void dungeons, elite dungeon quests using orange stamina, and abyss dungeons using green stamina. Yeah, but again, let's be somehow realistic on early days. Let's say we're still working on our pink weapon, grinding those elite dungeon quests, because honestly, for free to play players like us, we're not crafting that pink weapon overnight. It takes time, and that's okay. So while we're using green stamina in elite dungeons to farm materials, every time we finish that green stamina, we can switch over to void dungeons. Now here's what I noticed. In void dungeons, whether you use orange or green stamina, you still get loot either way. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Yeah, but that's how I understand the system so far. Yeah, and also guys, that's why I'm showing you all this to help you see the bigger picture of how stamina works in this game, so you can also build your own farming routine in the future. But for me personally, I'm using my orange stamina in void dungeons. So starting with level 45 dungeon, I farm here for the accessories I need. But take note guys, there's a loot limit here. You can only get up to 16 drops. That means you cannot spam all your stamina here. And then later, we also have the level 55 Void Dungeon. Same thing, but this one has a loot limit of 48. And here's something very, very important, guys. When you craft Void gear, you need a kind of scroll or recipe. That's why if you check each gear, you will be needing scroll or this recipe. And if you check where to get it, it comes from this NPC right here. And you can only buy one per day. So imagine that, one per day. And you need 8 to craft a full set. That's why I suggest start buying it on day 1. Even if you're not ready to craft yet. Because the worst scenario that might happen to you is you have all the materials, you're ready to go, but then you realize you haven't been buying the scrolls. And now you're delayed by 8 more days, right? So again, start buying it early, yeah, but maybe just stop at 6 or 7 just to be safe, because we might get one for free from another source. Yeah, but yeah, 6 or 7. Okay, so now once you're done with your void set, you're officially graduated from the second farming phase. So just by completing your void gears, your magic resistance will also go up. And like I mentioned in my previous videos, you will need that magic resistance for the higher level dungeons. And for example, this next level of void dungeon require 1000 magic resistance, and level 60 requires 4500 magic resistance. Okay, so now once you start doing the higher level void dungeons, which are level 58 and level 60, your new goal is simple. You just want to upgrade your level 55 and level 50 pink gears into the yellow version. So this is the next tier of your equipment. And the reason we do this is to boost your magic resistance even higher. And why is that important? Because in future content, especially in raids, magic resistance becomes a requirement. It's not just a bonus, but it's a number that is very important in the future. So again, we're not farming blindly, we're farming with a purpose. So level 58 and 60 void dungeons, that's where you start the gear upgrading pace from pink to yellow or to epic. So right now, I hope you're starting to see the pattern of the game. You know, like once you understand how this pattern work, you'll know exactly what to do next, right? That's why again, you don't need to copy this roadmap exactly. This is just a super basic roadmap to help you see the bigger picture of your gameplay. I know there will be other content creators for sure, especially those who've been playing for in China for years, and hopefully they will share their secret of farming routine and deeper strategies in stamina usage, and who knows, maybe even one of you will come up with something epic. Yeah, but while you're still figuring things out, this basic plan might be a good starting point to help you move forward in this game. So guys, I think that's it for now, and I really appreciate you if you made it all the way to this point. I know it's a long video. That's why, yeah, thank you truly. And as always, happy gaming.